All right, I just got my shipment of the replacement flywheel right here, so I'm going to try to hopefully open this so we can all find out together if the flywheel has the weight on it or not. So let's get busy. All right, I wanted to make sure that we could see what was going on before I unwrap this. So again, same part number, 600410. This one is 600410. Drilled for a counterweight, but no weight. And they send this is in the box. So flywheel, there's the dowel for putting the dowel pins in. So hopefully, aha! Bingo! She's got a counterweight. No weight, counterweight. So this one's going back to Summit. They're going to take this. This was a warranted part. So I can now guarantee, well, at least this time, I can guarantee you that the 50-ounce weight comes attached. My mistake for not noticing it, thinking that the flywheel was just balanced like normal. So I'm ready to put this on. So that is going to be tomorrow's job. All right, I'm just getting ready to put the new flywheel and a replacement flywheel in. Got things kind of set up, got my loop bolts ready and sealed. But before I do that, we're going to come under here. And this is another one of those long bolt things. This long eye bolt this person put in to keep the brake cables away from the drive line, and smashed a couple things. I'm going to clean this off, run another nut down, cut it short, and I'll use my second nut as a jam nut on there, but I'm not going to leave that on there for somebody to jam their hands. All right, I'm gonna get ready to put the flywheel on, so I'm gonna put the spacer plate on. And my dowel holes right there. Okay. All right, stuff's out of the way. Got bolts ready. Grab the flywheel. And these are coated with their anti-vibration locking thread that I use, or sealant. And I'll torque those. Those are to 75. And I did measure this thickness of this flywheel prior. And if you remember, the last one was 0.945. This one came out to 0.941. But I'm still in the tolerance for the fork ball. Before I put the clutch on, I'm going to clean this off. Cover back up here first, and the disc is in right. It says flywheel side. And just to make sure, perfect. All right, this was more or less a puzzle, but the transmission's back blocked up again like it was before I took it down, and secure so it's not going to fall down, because that has to go back in before you can snake the bell housing up, because there's just not enough. The input shaft hits right about here. You can't get it up because of the framework, so more like a puzzle. Inside we can see the forks are definitely behind the ball. I'm going to make sure of that. All right, again, I'll put the clutch cable in, put the clip on, and at this point it really kind of doesn't matter if I really snug this up, because I have plenty of clearance on the top on the firewall adjuster, so I can be a little bit generous on the how tight I get these against the fingers, because we can always take up the slack and give it some more free play on the top side. So I'm going to make sure that it's right up against the fingers. Give it a little, and I'm just doing this finger tight. And that again is just to hold the clutch cable and the throwout bearing in place. Well, that's always a struggle. And it kind of was no different. But basically just kind of started to stab the transmission, started clocking it back to the upright position as it slid in, had to jiggle around to find the forks, or excuse me, to find the splines, and then all of a sudden just popped right in. One of the things I did was trim all of the extra ears that are basically the locating tabs for when they make these and they ship them down the assembly, or when they ship them down the assembly lines. So sometimes they get in the way. They're not needed. So I just took them off when I had the transmission out. Okay, now I'm going to get the block that I adjusted the short shifter and bolt that on. Then we'll push this up, put the lower mount on here, rear mount, and then I can do the mechanism that I adjusted, and then the shift fork and drive line and button it up. Before I put the short shifter on the transmission, I'm going to have to remove this top mechanism plate, which we adjusted the other, or I adjusted the other day. I just put an arrow here for reference because I know that this goes to the back and this is how it goes. So I've got these kind of loose right now, these Allen heads. So we're going to pull them the rest of the way out, because there's no clearance to get this in. I can't even put this in. It's so tight up there with the rear mount. So we're going to pull this off. Okay, we're going to set that down off the side here. And then in here we have the shift lever itself and the springs. Now the springs and the flat washer, which is a hardened steel, you can't see it, but it's down in there. It'll come up when I pull this out. So to reference this, I'm just going to keep everything the same. Okay, that one came out. And this is not aluminum. This one is hardened steel. It's a hardened steel washer on the spring. And that goes down against the plunger because the plunger is steel itself. And aluminum would just wear this thing out. So just to make sure that we keep everything together, that'll be on that side. And then this is just going to stay out for right now. And then this, I can now silicone, clean the back of this off and lay a bead of silicone around here, perimeter. I'll lay a little bit around the top of the transmission. And then I'm going to set this on, and then I'm going to put the 4 bolts in. I have to do that from the bottom underneath. I don't have room on top. We'll set that, and then I can actually fill it from this point here. Just dump the transmission fluid back in. It's like 2 3/4 quarts, so I have it in a bottle, which will make it easier. I'll check the level once I get everything all done. And then we can raise the transmission up, put the rear mount, secure that, and then this will be done. And I'm going to probably leave this sit overnight. I don't like running things after I just silicone, so I may start the engine up just to see what it sounds like and how it feels, but I probably won't run it until tomorrow. But I don't think I'm going to have a problem, and I think it's going to be much better. Hindsight, yeah, a couple of bolts and 4 bolts on the drive shaft, and I could have had it out and probably found all these items and cured it all at once, been done with it. I might have still had the balance problem because as proud as I am of working on it, I make mistakes and I learn. So there you have it. But we're going to find out. We're not going to know for sure until tomorrow. But that's where I am right now. I'm going to finish this up. I'll do a couple of shots when I get this in, adjusting it, and then go from there. So stay with me. All right, the shift tower is bolted and sealed, and now it's time to put the mechanism back in now that we have room. It's got some clearance here. So basically this is going to go back the same way that I took it out, just so we keep things in reference. So we're going to install the shift fork or lever down, and then we're going to take the spring that came off the right side, and it's got the washer on the bottom, and we're going to set that down there so it's riding on top of the shift lever. And then we're going to take this one and its washer, and we're going to put that one down here, and we're going to set that in there. Get that out of the way here. And then we just take this, which we've already got our adjustments made, but if we have to fine tune, we can. And then this is going to get sandwiched down in here. Hopefully it'll get sandwiched down in here. Might have to do a shift. I think I might have to put this in. There we go. That'll get me down because I got to get it over those springs. That's one side. I can almost feel it. There we go. And then this will get secured by the Allen bolts. Sorry. All right, the shift lever's on again one more time before I take it off and put the boot on. But right now we're in neutral, and then I'm going to do first. And it's not so much the first gear, it's the second and third gear shift. So this is going to have a little bit. We got a pretty sloppy 10 thousandths there, and into second back here we got a tight 10, which is pretty good. And then up into third, with the ones that always slam, we got a nice snug 10 thousandths, which I like, and into fourth we got plenty of room. So these are adjusted, and even if it needed to be adjusted again, it's easy enough to take this boot off here. I'll have another boot here, just one over the top. Pry that up. This is 1/2 inch, and you just kind of loosen the lock nut, do your adjustment, and put it back down and go to town. Right, I got everything back together. It's buttoned up, it's been sitting overnight, everything's sealed, fluid is good. So I've got some things set up, got my laptop set up, I'll be watching the screen, I'll do a little video, and we'll see what kind of, hopefully non-vibration, so we'll have good vibrations. Temperature now, so we are now in closed loop. I can see it being populated, and also on the screen here. So I'm ready to take off and see what this will do. just finished the run, and the problem is solved. This thing is glass smooth. I took it up to 6400 a couple of times, and it is just flawless. It rides really nice. It's very smooth. I think he's going to be really happy. Sorry I didn't catch it the first time around, but you know, mistakes are made. So as I said before, I'm going to stand behind her or in front of it, so I'm good to go, and it's good to go. And thanks for tuning in to all these episodes. I appreciate it. Thanks.